Hello, dear friends. This is our 7 kilowatts parking air and water integrated heater. Let's open the package. The so-called integrated air and water heating parking heater not only prevents dry burning, independently delivers warm air, but can also heat water. It can be installed in cars or at home, and it has a wide range of application scenarios. Next, I'll quickly go over how to install the 7 kilowatts parking air and water integrated heater, its usage functions, and a few important points to note. We are now looking for a suitable installation location for it. This is the mounting plate included in our packaging. Locate an installation position and drill a hole slightly smaller than the mounting plate. Then secure the mounting plate over it. Alternatively, directly secure the mounting plate in place and drill holes through it afterward. There are some accessories in the packaging. Take the screws and use them to secure the mounting plate. Then take out the machine. After removal, secure it in place. Once the machine is properly secured, retrieve the water pipe connectors from the packaging accessories. It is crucial to apply lubricant to the water pipe connectors during installation. Since the screws have fine threads, failing to lubricate them may cause thread galling. These are the inlet and outlet connectors for the water pipes. Once installed, the machine does not distinguish between inlet and outlet. This is our inlet pipe. Then use a hose clamp to fasten it in this section. Avoid crushing, deforming, or excessively bending the inlet pipe, as this may limit oxygen intake, which may lead to carbon buildup within the machine. Attach the air filter to this location on the inlet pipe. This is the outlet pipe. Use a hose clamp to fasten it in this section. When installing the outlet pipe, ensure that the bend angle exceeds 110 degrees. This ensures that any residual fuel flows outward through the pipe if the machine fails to ignite. Avoid upward bends in this section, as bends may trap dripping fuel, leading to carbon buildup. So the outlet pipe outlet must be facing down. This is our muffler, connects to the outlet pipe. The side with openings goes down. When installing the inlet pipe and outlet pipe, make sure they face different directions. Otherwise, exhaust gases expelled from the outlet pipe risk being drawn back into the inlet pipe, as this can also lead to carbon buildup. Next, we will install the air blow pipe. This is the air blow pipe. This is its air outlet vent cover. Tighten it with a clamp like this. Alternatively, you can replace it with a T-connector, and similarly fasten it using the hose clamp. Once secured, fasten the clamp tightly at this position. Next, let's proceed with the oil line installation. This is the fuel tank. In our fuel tank, there is an accessory that needs to be poured out. One is the fuel tank port, and the other 3 are screws for securing the fuel tank. The fuel tank has 3 mounting holes for installation. Attach the fuel tank adapter by screwing it on at the bottom of the fuel tank. This is the fuel hose. Cut the fuel hose to the required length as needed. Cut a 40 centimeters fuel hose and connect one end to the fuel tank and the other end to the filter cup. Then cut another 40 centimeters section. Attach one end to the opposite side of the filter cup and connect the other end to the fuel pump. Finally, attach an additional fuel hose to the other end of the fuel pump. There's a very important point here. When connecting the fuel hose, make sure the fuel tank to pump hose doesn't exceed 1 meter. The pump to machine hose can be 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters. This is the fuel pump mounting bracket. The fuel pump is best installed at a 45 degrees angle, with the discharge port facing upward. After completing the oil line connections, do not immediately connect the fuel hose to the machine. Set it aside temporarily. First, complete the power cable connections. Next, we proceed to install the power supply section. This is the power wiring harness. The red wire is the positive terminal, and the black wire is the negative terminal. When connecting this wiring harness, ensure the black wires are not too long. To determine if the power cable is excessively long, activate the display and immediately record the voltage the moment it powers on. For example, it's 24.9 volts when turned on. Keep monitoring until fuel pumping starts. Then check how much the voltage drops. The normal voltage drop is within 1 volt. If it exceeds 1.5 volts, it indicates that the wire connected to the negative terminal is either too long or not properly connected. This will cause an increase in voltage drop. If the voltage drop exceed 1.5 volts, the spark plug's power will be affected, leading to failed startup. Thus, this aspect is critically important. After installing the power supply, align our metal connector of wiring harness with the machine's metal connector and screw it on securely. This is the water pump connector. Align and mate it with the machine's corresponding socket. This is a self-priming pump equipped with an integrated check valve. Due to the valve's one-way flow design, attempting to blow through it manually will not work. It can only be controlled via power supply. The water pump wiring is non-polarized. Connect them directly to the pump's terminals. There is the fuel pump plug on the harness. Connect it to the fuel pump. This is the fuel extractor. If we're installing the fuel tank, the extractor won't be needed. The fuel extractor is primarily used for drawing fuel from the vehicle's original tank, so we won't be using it for now. After completing the machine installation, including power supply and fuel system connections, let's proceed with the water circuit installation. This is our water hose. Attach it to the machine's water inlet port. The machine's inlet and outlet water ports are interchangeable. Either can function as the intake or discharge point. Attach the water hose to the machine's water inlet port and secure it with hose clamp. If you are heating the water tank, first, let's install the water pump. Here is an arrow. The arrow indicates the water discharge direction. Connect this end to the water pump. Then, connect the other end of the pump to the water hose port on the machine. Next, connect the other end of the additional water hose to this port on the water tank. Installation method for water tank heating for the 7 kilowatts parking heater integrates air and water heating functions. Water flows from the water tank to the water pump. The pump is marked with a directional arrow. Ensure proper alignment during installation. The water then enters the machine, where it is heated before circulating back into the water tank. Note that this is a 7 kilowatts parking heater. The water capacity for heating should not exceed 20 liters. However, the water circuit installation methods for radiator or radiant underfloor heating differ from those used for water tank. As you can see, this is the heating method for our radiator systems. Whether installing radiator or radiant underfloor heating, an expansion tank must be installed. Let me elaborate. Water is drawn by the pump into our machine, where it is heated. After being heated by the machine, it circulates back into the radiator system. If the heating unit stops operating after completing the heating cycle, but the warm air circulation remains active, this can generate pressure within the water pipes. This pressure will automatically divert into the expansion tank. Otherwise, when attempting to pump water later, the residual pressure may impede water flow, making circulation difficult. Thus, the expansion tank is essential for radiator or radiant underfloor heating. However, it is important to note that, if you are preheating the engine, the water pump must be installed in parallel. First, let me introduce the self-priming pump and brushless pump. This is a self-priming pump, and this is a brushless pump. The difference lies in the self-priming pump's internal check valve, while the brushless pump has a straight-through design without an integrated check valve. Let's examine this diagram. Next, we'll review the Type 1 engine preheating coolant circuit diagram. This is the engine, the vehicle's original heater core, and our machine. There is a coolant drain valve at the lowest point of the engine. Remove the drain screw and replace it with a flanged hollow fitting. Tighten it. Then connect to water pump, then to our machine. Connect the machine's return hose directly to the heater core upper hose. Let's review another diagram. This is the another type engine preheating coolant circuit diagram. The water pump connects to the heater core lower hose via a T-connector, routing coolant to our machine. The machine's return hose should be connected to the heater core upper hose using another T-connector. The reason it is connected this way is because our water pump is self-priming, requiring a parallel connection method to preheat the engine. After installing the machine, including the fuel lines and water circuit, do not immediately start the machine. This can easily lead to startup failure or smoke emission. The first critical step is to press and hold the first button. Quickly draw fuel from the tank until all air is purged from the fuel hose and the fuel hose is filled with fuel, until oil flows out of the outlet. Then connect the fuel hose to the machine. Next, I will briefly introduce the functions of this LCD display. Press and hold the first button to activate rapid oil pumping. Releasing the button stops this process. This is primarily to bleed excess air from the fuel hose. The second button activates the plateau mode. When operating at altitudes above 1,500 meters, you must use this button to start the system. Failure to do so may lead to carbon buildup. It is important to note that this button also functions as a fuel-saving mode. When the weather is not particularly cold, using this button to start the system can reduce fuel consumption by 45%. And additionally, another key feature is its ability to automatically clean carbon deposits. This is the gear adjustment button. When we turn it on, gear adjustments are ineffective during the first 6 minutes, while the machine automatically regulates temperature. After 6 minutes, it will automatically revert to the currently selected gear's power level. This is the power off button. Pressing this button activates automatic mode. Use it for startup in extremely cold conditions or regular operation. It also functions as a rotary gear adjustment knob. Next, let me introduce water heating process. We turn on the machine. Directly activate the water heating button after startup. Although the display indicates water pump activation at this stage, the pump does not start immediately. It will automatically activate once the display shows the temperature reaching 90 degrees Celsius. If the aluminum body temperature exceeds 120 degrees Celsius, and then activate the water heating, the aluminum body will first automatically dissipate heat until the temperature drops to about 90 to 120 degrees Celsius before the water pump automatically turns on. This design is implemented to prevent thermal expansion and contraction. This is the workflow for water heating operations. All our heaters feature automatic temperature regulation. No manual temperature adjustment is required. Every power level includes this feature. Another feature is that we have integrated the instruction manual into the LCD interface, providing direct troubleshooting guidance without requiring error code cross-referencing. For example, if we unplug the temperature sensor, the system will immediately display a sensor error alert and provide step-by-step troubleshooting guidance. By following the troubleshooting steps listed on the display one by one, you can address the problem. For example, if a motor failure occurs, the system will provide step-by-step troubleshooting guidance. Similarly, for issues like low fuel or startup failure, it will provide step-by-step troubleshooting guidance. Simply follow the on-screen guidelines to check each corresponding issue in sequence. Finally, I wish you all success in your endeavors and happiness in every aspect of life. Thank you.